Howdy doody. Welcome to episode 344 of TDI. This is Dr. O on the horn to start per usual. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my best friend, and Snyder Cut cultist, Ricky Flicks. How are you, my friend? Did you watch all of the sequel to Rebel Moon?
Negative. Negative. I told myself one of my movie resolutions this year was to not waste my time with dog shit, dog crap movies. And that's what Rebel Moon Part 2 is. Absolute dog crap. Did not finish it. Don't want to finish it. Will never finish it. And Zack Snyder, you're on potential like drive-in anti-watch. Like anti-watch. Like watch. You know? Like not gonna watch your movies anymore.
Like if he comes out with the movie, we will not be reviewing it on the podcast.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm getting at. The anti-watch watch. Anti-review watch. I don't know how to say it. We'll think of I
The naughty
just want to
list.
say, yeah, like the drive-in naughty list, whatever you want to call it.
Who else is on that list?
Oh, God. Oh, man.
Who's on the naughty list for TDI?
The naughty list for TDI. Not Guy Ritchie.
I was gonna say Guy Ritchie, like
After this
no,
one, not Guy Ritchie.
no, but he was like after like Aladdin and then like some other movies that have been kind of just the symbol of mediocrity. He could easily be on the naughty list. Let's keep thinking though. This is a good thing.
Not Josh Whedon, but
He doesn't make stuff anymore. Like
yeah.
Josh Whedon, he's been on the naughty list since 2017, and then everything that transpired afterward of Justice League. He is on the naughty list, but he just doesn't make stuff anymore.
Right. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Russo brothers, naughty list.
Naughty list. That's a good one. Russo brothers, naughty list.
Yeah. Nothing of substance really since Endgame. Naughty list. That's a good one. Let's keep that in mind and let's keep revamping that list as time goes on. Ricky Flex. That's a good resolution for your movie New Year. Not wasting your time. Unfortunately, I wasted a lot of time watching Rebel Moon and the Scar Giver. Let's not forget the colon subtitle. We intended for this to be like a movie swap type of episode where you go see Guy Ritchie's new film and I go see Zack Snyder, right? Or I stay at home, I should say, and watch Zack Snyder's sequel to Rebel Moon. I think we got to get Rebel Moon 2 out of the way, Ricky Flex. I watched an hour of it. I didn't get through the entire film. This movie sucks. This movie sucks, Ricky Flicks. And I want to say there's some parts saved by visuals, but a lot of times, like the Snyder isms with the slow-mo, it felt like he was trying to make a bad movie. It was embarrassing. The first hour, first of all, nothing happens. Nothing. The slow-mos we see are people farming.
Yes.
Farming. People scooping water. And I am looking for, right, something to re-energize like this potential franchise following the critical reception of the first film. I think the expectations were so low after the first film that people were just like, can you make a cohesive script? Can you make like your visuals and put in some action sequences that at least like energize the movie or like can entertain audiences? But this was incredibly boring to me, Ricky Flex. There's so many things wrong with this movie just in the first hour. The script is awful. There's zero character development. They rely on flashbacks to kind of make you feel emotional or sympathetic towards these rebel type of figures, and it completely falls on its face. There were some great explosions. You know, that's what Snyder does, right? You get some slow-mo, you get some flashbacks of people like going through a struggle against this empirical type of force, you know, similar to Star Wars type of story. But I could not give less of a shit about any of these characters. And to have literally an hour go by and nothing happens is embarrassing aside from flashbacks. And the acting in some of those flashbacks is so fucking bad. The Belisarius dude, I think the guy with the beard, he's got slick back hair. He was the one that was like the mentor, maybe adopted father of Korra. I think it's adoptive father. I don't even know. I think I don't remember half the stuff that happened in the first film. I just know it was like an Avengers type team up. Let's get
It was a
everybody
recruiting
together.
movie.
It was a recruiting movie, but it kind of results in the next hour just being about farming, which sucks. And they try to give Jaimin Hansu like a larger scale role. And I'm like, Jaimin Hansu, it's not what he does, bro. Don't give him a ton of dialogue. That's not good. But the Belisarius, dude, first of all, the most Zack Snyder name in a movie, Belisarius. Like he just likes saying it. Awful. Like the worst acting I've seen in a very long time. And this movie was just, I couldn't get through it. Couldn't get through it, Ricky Flex.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for Zack Snyder, someone that, he still gets talent. Like Anthony Hopkins said yes to this project. I know he's just a robot, but still, like that's pretty weird how he's in this movie. And like people still look at Zack Snyder through a positive lens. I think after his absurd press tour that we've been tweeting about over the past week, and how he's just making claims that Tom Cruise was going to be Rorschach, Leonardo DiCaprio was in talks to be Lex Luthor. Like,
and he was the one who thought of Batman versus Superman. It's just like it was Leonardo DiCaprio's idea, the poster boy for anti-superhero movies.
Yeah, it's just like, get out of my face, Zack Snyder. That's why he's on the anti-watch and naughty list. And I just want to say I'm done with him. I really do. The fact that he thought that this was going to be like a 6+ movie, like not series, obviously, franchise saga, is just disrespectful. After this, Netflix can't give him another one. I think the relationship's over. The amount of money they gave him, like over $300 million each movie or something like crazy like that, including promo. I think it's over. That relationship is over.
We never know the streaming numbers for any of these movies. And that was something with like the writers and actors strike. Like we were hoping like, hey, these streamers need to reveal actual numbers, right? Concrete proof of who's seen what. But like for Netflix to say to Zack Snyder, we're going to grant you 2 films. And then we're going to also give you a director's cut for each of those films. The Snyder cut must have done numbers for them to do that. That's the only way I can see them, meaning Netflix, saying yes to this type of deal. Because it seems like these are PG-13s. Like I thought this movie was going to be rated R. Like a huge part of what I have an issue with these 2 movies is that they pull back certain moments of violence and sex and language just because they're saving it for another cut of the film. Like, do you know, like you're potentially making the initial movie inherently bad because this is not the natural version you want people to see. The whole point, right, of having the ability to have a director on a streaming service, someone well known and acclaimed, not acclaimed, but popular as Zack Snyder, is that you make your type of movie on a streaming service. That's what Netflix become known for. Something that they're trying to disassociate, but you're making a movie with Zack Snyder. Like you signed up for this shit, So like to say, oh, we're going to put 2 movies out, an initial one and a sequel. We know it's not going to be the complete version that Zack Snyder wants to see. Why put it out? Why put it out? The Snyder Cut must have done numbers for them to say, we're going to give you these 2 movies and you're going to get the director's cuts. There were so many moments that I was watching this, even in the first hour, I'm like, they're holding it back. Like parts that are juicy and entertaining, they're saying, nope, we're saving it for later. How about the here and now? Like no one cares about this story because you're saving it for later on. Do you think this is going to catch on afterwards? Absolutely not. It's absurd that they made this type of deal, Ricky Flex.
It's crazy. It feels like Zack Snyder's purposely saying, oh, we're going to have this movie, but wait till you have my director's cut. See what happened with the Snyder Cut for Justice League? But that was an unusual situation. It feels like this is self-orchestrated where it's like, oh, yeah, that movie's going to be bad, but my director's cut's going to be good. But, dude, you forget your name's on both of these. Yeah. It's not like it was Justice League. It's like
he's intentionally making these first 2 versions bad, so it'll be like Snyder Cut for the next 2 that are much better. But like, yeah, it is a totally different situation. Like we're not cutting him a break whatsoever for this.
Yeah, and like, why is Netflix like agreeing to this? Because that just means like he's basically trying to give himself an out, saying, "Oh, the studio didn't let me do this or this with parts 1 and 2." It's like, why would Netflix, the studio, agree to this? Like, you had the power, you had the money, you don't have to do this. And like you were saying, the reason why these directors go to streaming services because they usually don't, because they want their movies in theaters. is because they have their director's cut as the original cut.
Yeah. They have
They
more
have full
autonomy.
exactly autonomy. So this is just a bizarre situation, and it's definitely on the naughty list. And I think this is exactly why Netflix is getting out of this game, where they're just giving self-acclaimed or whatever you want to say, popular directors an unlimited budget to make whatever they want because it boosts their streaming numbers. Netflix isn't even going to be reporting their subscribers anymore starting next year. So I think this era is going to be over after 2024 anyways.
I legitimately thought with all the slow-mos of Zack Snyder with the people farming that he was intentionally doing that to like have people like shit on the movie. Like there's no way you thought that just because it looked cool. You know? That like
I don't know, man.
someone blew some wheat crops like in the air and you said like that'll look good in the movie and then you make 5 minutes out of it. And then that 5 minutes becomes, oh, some guy's pouring water on his face, let's make it 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden like the movie's an hour in and we haven't even had the antagonist land on the planet yet. Like that's crazy. That is absolutely absurd. What I also thought of, Ricky Flex, this lack of success for the Rebel Moon franchise makes me very nervous for another set of movies that are coming out later this year, where we had December 15th release for the first Rebel Moon and how critically atrocious how that movie performed, and then the fan like reception and shitting on it nonstop, and not even like the Snyder cultists could like at least salvage right Snyder's reputation from either of these two movies. And then like the second movie comes out and people have no buzz and people just and like think it's going to be shitty. It's going to be the same tone. It's going to be the same shitty writing, right? We're only going to have some slow-mo scenes. We're going to have a couple good action sequences. This makes me nervous for Horizon.
Yes.
That's coming out later this summer into the fall. If this first movie bombs for Kevin Costner in his Western, this will be disastrous for the second release. It will kill all momentum. No one is going to want to see the second version of the movie. So this template of initial installment and sequel in a short span of time, months within each other, I don't know if we're going to see it ever again after Horizon. Like this is like a make or break. Like you need to have that first movie hit. I'm very nervous for Horizon after this.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm still shocked you picked it most anticipated movies of the year.
Well, it's Kevin Costner, Western directing, Dances with Wolves. Come on. Like you got to have some hope.
Man, I don't know. I think the last question here is this worse than Madam Web?
Madam Web was like entertaining at points. Like it was so bad, it was entertaining.
It was so bad, yeah.
Like it was that like doing that review was fun, Ricky. Doing this review is not fun, and we're putting Zack Snyder on the naughty list. That we don't want to put him on the naughty list. You know, Santa Claus never wants to put people on the naughty list, right? When he does it, it's like he has to tilt his head a little bit, like he had so much potential or she had so much potential. Sorry, naughty list. It's hard. It's hard because actually, this tandem of movies made me second guess what I think about the Snyder Cut. I'm just like, damn, I really liked that when it came out, but I'm like thinking about the slow-mo in that movie and the unnecessary sequences. I get it. It's a director's cut. You're going to have stuff that like won't ever be in the theatrical cut, but some of those action sequences or even non-action sequences with the slow-mo, he's just doing it because it looks more prestige-y. And it like, oh, look at the visionary this guy is, but like there's zero substance to those scenes. You know, I just really was second guessing it. Like, and I'm listening to a lot of podcasts interviewing Zack Snyder. I listen to him on Joe Rogan and his like, it's honestly upsetting me. His like lack of understanding of like DC characters and saying like no one like there is this like natural law that Batman won't kill. And that makes me want to have Batman kill. I'm like, dude, you're trying to upset people.
He was the wrong guy.
You can't be in charge of a blockbuster franchise and want to upset people. You know it's going to get him upset. He's trying to provoke people. I hate that shit. Like he is on my personal naughty list too.
I won't delete tweets, but I'm no longer Restore the Snyderverse guy, obviously.
Gunn, dude. James Gunn is that guy knows how to like handle a superhero franchise. He's responsible with those characters.
But even his comments towards James Gunn, saying like, oh, he wants as long as he honors the characters, then I can't wait to see James Gunn's like new DCU. Bro, you literally just admitted on Joe Rogan you wouldn't have honored Batman.
He's
Like arguably the
irresponsible with the
biggest
character.
like that's insane how he said that after just saying what he said on Joe Rogan and what he's been saying on his press tour. It's so disrespectful to the audience, to be honest. Like it really is. So like I'm not a Zack Snyder guy. I never really was, but I always want to see the Snyder cut just because of the rumors. Now that we have it, I won't go as far to say it's not good. I still think the Snyder cut.
No, I'm not saying that, but I was like, I think I rated it in like 80 out of 100. I was like, this is like,
I was around the
well,
same.
imagine what we could have gotten, but like this guy just can't contain himself. You know, he can't. He just can't. He has to let it out, even if it's going to upset the largest base of people. Imagine if Marvel, like every movie, is like trying to like upset their audience, or like
Imagine
they're
like
trying to have like Spider-Man starts killing people, like Spider-Man. I don't even know. It's just like changing it to the extent where it's not even in comic book lore. Marvel fans would go ballistic.
yeah, I was gonna say Captain America killing people with his shield. Like that's just like or guns. Like you can't be doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm Rebel Moon. I can't put a score on it because I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch an hour. I turned it off. Not gonna put a score on it, but I'll say worse than Madam Web.
I will say Rebel Moon for the first hour, a 10 out of 100. A 10.